Each Sunday night, I'd watch the practice with none of my friends. I'd turn the dial to ABC to see the creep of the week that Bobby Donald defends. But I'm out of practice.
With your hosts. First up, Keith Marty.
Out of practice.
And Bend It Like Indeglio.
Way back in high school, most every night, my mom watched
Acting.
QVC, so I missed
Acting,
the practice. There was no TV.
You know, now you're going to have to animate that in post.
Wait 15 years,
okay.
get fat, then stream it on Hulu. Out of practice.
Folks, it's a sleepy December Monday morning. And we're going to do a podcast.
Out of practice.
No hard out. It's 60 degrees. Jen's out of town. Let's get nuts.
Out of practice.
And welcome to the Out of Practice Podcast, a weekly podcast in which me and my old buddy Mike discuss David E. Kelley's award-winning series, The Practice. This week, we are up to Season 7, Episode 14, The Making of a Trial Attorney. Now, Mike, if there was going to be an episode about the making of a podcast host, what would it be about, you think?
PJ Pants.
Mm-hmm. Getting teased in middle school?
Someone with probably a lot of privilege who has a job that doesn't have to be actively jobbing at the time. Someone who prefers to be seen from the shoulders up. Those
Or
are the
not
three
seen
keys.
at all.
Yeah, we're not seeing it all, right?
Yeah, no, fair enough. Very, very tightly cropped videos. Just,
Yeah.
And very important, like very carefully picked camera angles and lighting.
You know, I
Yeah,
have to say,
well-
Keith, I'm really impressed with, at our advanced age, that you're not showing the, like, you've got a little just like hint of the white in the beard, but I'm going full Santa here these days.
Oh no, there's more there than it comes up on camera. No,
Okay.
I'm not like you. I didn't go like full white at 19, but it's definitely coming. It's coming around the edges. You can't see with the ear holes, but so be it. We have a very exciting episode today. I didn't know how exciting it was going to be until, oh yes, wait, is that your tree or your backup tree?
Well, we have just a brief segment of we have tried for years cat content. We put the we put the Christmas tree in the living room. I had some pictures. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. It's our favorite thing to do. It took 3 hours until the little kitten just decided to make a nest inside of the tree. And
Inside the tree.
he got stuck. I had to get him out, and then we thought, oh, he's scared straight now. But then he started breaking ornaments, and which a shard of glass went into my foot, and I said, maybe next year. So we moved it into the office here.
Oh, that's what happened. Yeah, we put up ours as well, and thus far, like Charlie had. Oh, I should have loaded the video. Blah blah blah. Next week I'll show you. We also have a train set that we go around the bottom of the tree, and
That's cool.
So Charlie found that interesting. He hasn't knocked anything over because we have cat protocol for the tree that I had when I was growing up. So you put the plastic ornaments around the bottom, all the stuff that's indestructible, and put the nice stuff up top, and that usually worked for all the various cats. But no, Charlie hasn't really done much with the tree. He sniffs it, he wants to chew on a little bit, which we're paranoid about because we don't want him eating the needles. But anyway, yeah, the thing is with poor Charlie is Buddy's got a little cold.
Oh no!
Which is no fun. He doesn't have any symptoms other than he's sneezing, which is pretty silly. And of course, like, we're paranoid and we're looking up online. Oh, is he gonna die? No, he's not gonna die. He's gonna be totally fine. So he's still eating. That's the key. If your cat, if he's in distress, it means he's not eating. But Charlie is still eating like some sort of wild animal.
Keith, I'm going to segue out of this really cute, fun little segment we do about kitty cats.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to go dark?
Then, we're going to go dark for just a hot second, if I may.
Yes.
I just want to take a brief minute, just a second, to our friends and fans, and stay pretty vague here. However, two things I want to real quick mention. We have a colleague who, a neighbor of our, the cabin we own upstate. We share a parcel of land with a neighbor. And last year, when Jen came down with the Delta breakthrough, and we canned our vacation, you might recall I told the story on We Left. We had a little jokey joke with our neighbor who was like, "Oh, you shouldn't leave. It's a hoax." Like he's an older gent. He didn't want to get the vaccine and all that stuff. And we tried to urge him to do so. He chose not to. And unfortunately, this week he passed away of a COVID infection.
Oh my
God. I want to just take a second to send our love and thoughts out that way, and also encourage everybody who maybe is on the fence for whatever your reasoning may be about getting the booster or the vaccine or whatever. Like, we really need you to do so. So this is Keith and I putting our full support behind that. So I want to send that. Yeah. Also, we have a family member who got some really terrible news this week. Yeah. So it's kind of like a megaton bomb dropped on my family during the Christmas season. Really sucks. So anyone who can spare some thoughts, I won't say thoughts and prayers, however you send energy out in the universe personally, if you could send some my way, my family's way, that would be appreciated. And now let's be silly, because levity is important.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that is heartbreaking news, and you certainly have my thoughts, and I'm sure everyone else here who is listening. But yeah, okay, so yeah, it's it's tough, but you know what? Real life is real life, and it occasionally interjects itself into whatever you're doing, and that's okay. That is okay. You want to know what else is okay, Mike?
What's that?
Hearing from some of our, you know what? We're going to get some disappointing news in our favorite segment.
Filings and subpoenas. Filings and subpoenas. Filings and subpoenas. Filings and subpoenas.
You know, I set that up wrong. It's there's some understandable news and some fantastic, exciting.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
Things. I'm really excited about this. So, Mike, before we read a letter that we just got, it's not quite a rejection letter, but it's sort of a rejection letter. Why don't you tell us how people could send, if you wanted to send us a thanks but no thanks, how would they do that, Mike?
Not just that, folks. It is the holiday season, and you know what doesn't get sent around enough anymore? Actual holiday greeting cards. Would you like to talk crap to me and Keith? You can do so. Would you like to just send us a nice holiday card, an e-greeting? You can do that by shooting that our way at outofpracticepodcast@gmail.com. Send a nice Christmas card to the atheist in your life, Keith Varney. You can also
I'll take it.
Yeah. You can also hit us up on the very current social medias, the Facebook and the Instagram, Meta, as they come, at Out of Practice Podcast. Or, hey, your good old moderator, Phoenix Cage, is waiting for your questions, comments, and donations below here on the YouTubes. You can't even give a dislike anymore, baby. We still see them,
no?
but you don't see them. No, they took it away.
Did they really?
So if you want to just express your displeasure in non-emoji form, you can do so by just leaving a comment below. We love hearing from you guys. Listen, it's a small community, but it's a community nonetheless. Hit us up. And that's how you can contact us.
Yeah. No, I didn't know we lost the dislike feature. We get one like once a month, and I'm always so curious. Like, all right, what did we do to earn a dislike? I can think of a million things that we do every single time to earn a dislike, but about that specific, I'm always very curious.
Well, especially 7 seasons in. Have you watched 7 seasons of this and now you're surprised at the quality level? That shocks me.
It really, usually though it's for Trek toys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, it's interesting.
Well, you get a factoid wrong here and there, but guess what, guys?
Here and there.
If you don't want to just show us a visual thumbs down and you want to put it in a long paragraph form, you can do that too. Go to your
Ooh.
podcast listening service of choice and just rip us a new asshole. We'll be forced to read it on air with a celebratory bumper. How funny is that? So go ahead and do so, and we'd be still happy to hear from you.
Well, and you know what? We might even do it in our excited voice. Here it is, our commercial voice. We'll read how terrible we are, like this. But all right, so
Is that your
moving
commercial
forward,
voice?
I don't know. I'd love to do some voiceover work, but I haven't actually done any effort to not, to actually do it. All right. So whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's Monday morning. Okay. It's early. Neither one of us are fully awake yet.
My wife's out of town, dude. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with myself for the next week.
We all know. All right. So we got an email, from our good friend and fellow podcaster, Scott Maupin, who, we had discussed. He has a podcast called The Perfect Show, where he does episodes about little nuggets from his life that were perfect, whether it's a song or a stretch of road or lots of really interesting things. He does these great, well-produced episodes. And he was planning to do one on the Joey Herrick episodes of The Practice. And guess what? We were going to show up. But here's what came in our mail here. Says, hi guys, was listening to your newest ep and wanted to email you. I tried rewatching the Joey Herrick episodes of The Practice, and they're still fun, but they just don't quite hold up the same. I had my own Mike with me, who had never seen the show, but we both agreed it didn't quite age gracefully. There's a lot of gay panic stuff going on, and there are also a lot of fat phobia throughout the episodes that aged poorly in particular. It also came from the time before Prestige TV, when there had been no Sopranos or Breaking Bad, no Wire or Game of Thrones. The bar was different. And so now watching it after seeing all those, my reaction was, it's fine. It's good and great. It's good and great in places. It pulls the primal fear trick well a couple of times, but I don't think there's enough there for me to do an episode, not just talk about all the stuff that I feel keeps it from being perfect. And yeah. No, I mean, I think a lot of what we do here on the show is re-examine how, the parts that have not aged that well, both from the shift in context of prestige TV, but also, socially and our awareness of that's no longer appropriate. And it wasn't appropriate then. And so you're right. Not all of it has aged well. And certainly the fat phobia and the gay panic and, we've talked about it ad nauseum on various episodes of it, but yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you that all of those are certainly keep it from being perfect. I'll say that. You know, it would be an interesting exploration, one that we won't take a lot of time talking about, but it just jumped in my head when Scott was writing there. Clearly we've seen this week that legally our social justice really pendulums quite a bit. As much progress as we think we make, we then swing back the other way in due time, and so the march of progress is slow as balls, and that's frustrating. However, it would be interesting to juxtapose that with an exploration of how these social issues and how our vernacular and our approach to depicting a lot of these social issues, and I don't even mean big social issues, I'm talking about, well, yes, I guess big to varies depending on which we're talking about, but like the gay panic, as Scott mentioned there, and the fat phobia, the ableism we see often about the depiction of people with mental handicap or physical limitation, the way that's portrayed in art and in television, and does that waffle back and forth, or is it a steady march? I'd be curious to check that out. Yeah, interesting. But, and there is a big but here on this email, and here's where it's gonna get fun.
Hold on, but a parenthetical. Okay, Scott. I still think you could frame these episodes or this arc as the perfect guest spot for an actor. Like maybe the episodes don't, and you're right, the episodes don't hold up as well, but I don't know that there's a more fun, more scene chewy guest starring. If you limited the scope, perhaps you could still fit it in there.
You could, although most of the gay panic and fat phobia comes out of his mouth.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's true.
I think,
but he is a lunatic. I mean, he is a sociopath. So
look, nice try, Mike. We're not perfect enough to be on the perfect show,
but we've got sweats on, Scott.
Maybe
we'll
find something.
Sweats.
We'll find something perfect that we can be on. All right, but you know what is perfect? So. He continues, but I did have a gag I was prepping for when we talked. I was even going to surprise you and ask. Everyone knows that what the worst part of the practice is. Why don't we just all say it in 3, 2, 1? Then I don't know what you'd say, but I'd have said the theme song. It's a classic 90s situation of street sound effects plus beeps and boops. And of course, laser sounds equals music. And I was preparing to have you all help me listen to 3 remixes of it, and that I had done on Fiverr to help judge the best one to replace it, having listened to now 7 seasons worth of You Feel Like It's the Closest seasons worth. You feel like the closest thing to experts I can think of. Oh, that's sad. I can't even say the sentence.
So he didn't sit down on Logic Pro or the like Audacity and remix it himself. He spent cold hard cash to hire professionals.
These are commissioned works.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. He says, but even though I'm not going to do an episode on the practice, doesn't mean these remixes should go to waste, though. I mean, I did pay for them, exactly. So I'm attaching them to this, and feel free to listen to and use them or not use them as you like. Yeah, you know we're going to use them.
Oh, hell yeah, we are.
But I thought you'd appreciate them more than just about anyone else. So, Mike, are you ready?
Oh, I can't.
For 3 remixes of the practice theme.
Now, Keith, in a stunning turn of preparation, I've listened to these, and I have already chosen my favorite. So I'm excited to see what you think and see if we land on because if we can unanimously name a favorite, then we might have to commission it into the show somewhere.
Okay, yeah. Well, I have not heard these, so here we go. Here is number 1.
Let's credit the artists here.
Okay, this one is J Davalos 3. So, Mike, here's what I'm going to need. I'm going to need you to give me the tag for the teaser, and then I'll play the theme song.
This week on the practice.
No. The final line of the scene of the teaser.
Don't say anything.
Okay, here we go.
Mean.
Yes.
Shit.
Yes. It's a lot of applause. The crowd got bigger.
Very contemporary. Don't know if it fits the... Oh, shit. Hold on. Beat drop. Put the beat drop.
Yes. Okay.
All right, Jay Davos.
Wow.
Davos.
Whew. All right. So we're definitely at the club for that one.
Yeah, I don't know that fits, thematically in any way, shape, or form of the show, but, cool.
I mean, yeah. That's,
beeps and boops galore.
Beeps and boops galore. Okay. Well, that's the club remix. I like it. So coming up next, this is Artist The's rendition of the practice theme song Slap House Remix version 1. Mike, get us out of our teaser.
I'm looking for Bobby Donnell. Can I tell him who's asking for him? Just tell him it's an old friend.
Okay, we're a little sped up, but basically the original version. Yes. Got the door slams. Yes, like that.
Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum.
Add a little bit of
I do
bass
sense
there.
there's a melody here. Ba-bum-bum-bum-bum. They definitely made
Okay.
it more of a musical composition. Okay.
Right, there's definitely more music there. It definitely feels more traditional, more like a traditional, like actual remix. I like it. I like it. I feel like that could be usable. In its original context, like a little, I don't know what the graphics would be, like a little more peppy. It's not quite like TGIF peppy, but like it's a little peppier, a little happier. Okay. Great. Now let's come up with number 3. Micah's take us away.
Hey, has anyone seen Rebecca?
Ooh, it's perfect. It's mysterious. Now it's like the X-Files. Did Rebecca get murdered? Ooh, it's like Stranger Things.
It's like somebody's playing it on their iPad at the bottom of a steel trash can.
Yeah, this feels
Weird.
like it.
as
This
hell.
definitely feels like way mystery. This is like every episode's a mystery. Yeah. Yeah, that's like the Prestige version
Yeah, that's
where
nuts.
it's like there's lots of like slow scenes and like desaturated. Okay, all
well-
right, folks. Yeah, we have to declare a winner.
Well, listen, I'm gonna eliminate one right now.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't do that. I should let you. I've already pieced together my opinion, so let's hear yours. Let's hear yours in real time.
That was Shazadin version.
Yes, the titular Fiverr remixer.
I feel like I did pretty good with that. All right. So I think the second one, I liked it, but I think it was too close to the original.
Yeah, it just felt
That
a
if
little
we're gonna-
just sped up.
If we're gonna, I really liked adding the bass, and I liked this sort of boom clap of it all, and there was a good drop out and cut back in. That was great. So like I liked it. I just thought if we're gonna remix, we got to remix.
Right.
So the club version I really liked. I feel like remember with Baywatch, they
Yes.
did a Baywatch Midnight or After Dark. Forget exactly what it was, but it was David Hasselhoff now like solving crimes at midnight. Like he had a night job solving crimes, and like
Is that the actual plot of that?
yes. Legitimately,
I did
there
not
was a
know that.
Baywatch spinoff where Hasselhoff solved crimes as
Why
like
are we not
as like
doing a
detective.
podcast about that?
Really, really good question. I think there were like aliens and stuff. It was
Holy
crazy.
shit! We have to have a conversation about that.
that happened in the same world. I for Baywatch Nights, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, that feels like if they did the practice nights, where like I don't know, like Eugene was a bouncer at a club or something, or they were solving murders. I don't know. That sounds good. I think the third one's my favorite, and feels most like if they were going to reboot the practice, right? As a prestige, like long form series. Probably like a limited series. It'd be like 8 episodes. It'd all be about one case, but it like unfolded. I feel like that's the theme that I would use. Mike, your turn.
So I on the re-listening here, I did find that the thing is that my issue though is much like your first issue. It references the theme song, but like if you had played that to me without the context, I don't know that I would have placed it. Something about the rave version is very contemporary, is very up to date, is very like if we like did a practice today, it might be like a young up and coming lawyers, and they're like, but think about Bobby Donnell, new Bobby Donnell, played by like Timothée Chalamet, and
All right, keep making your pitch.
He's coming back from it opens with him like grinding up on some like hot Black Widow girls at the club, right? And now he's tired. He like rolls back to the office, right? He's got like his shirt's unbuttoned. He's got his jacket. He walks into his like swanky office that's just like pizza boxes everywhere, a spare tire in the corner from a Tesla. Passes out on the couch, and that's the opening.
Okay. All right. Well, we know what you're watching tonight. Okay. Well,
Scott, okay. So we got Timothée Chalamet, and let's see who's going to be the Eugene. Let's go with oh man, how about I got to think on it some more. I got to think about the casting some more.
All right. Well,
unfortunately, folks, I'm sure Vanessa Hudgens will make her way into the cast somewhere because she's everywhere now.
I'm fine with that. All right. So if folks, if you would like to make your own remixes or would like to hop in and do a pitch on any of these, we would love to hear from you. Scott, thank you so much for that. I completely and profoundly understand why you decided not to do an episode on that. But my God, what an awesome thing that you have done with these remixes. Thank you. That's fantastic. And I'm going to listen to those later again. That was really fun. All right. Let us now. Oh, God. We still, you know what? I think just for the sake of sakes, because we're already 27 minutes in, we are going to punt Lacey Peterson again. Just for the sake of sakes. Luckily, I really want to talk about it, and I'm really excited to talk about it, but the case went on for like 2 years, so we still have some time to technically work it in.
I'm excited to talk about it, actually.
Yeah.
But 2 points I'll bring up as a further tease. One, I would say that it has piqued my curiosity quite a bit, and it does appear as though he's going to get a new trial, so we'll get to relitigate these things in real time. Well, I mean, yeah, true. Though I will say, and it was an A&E thing, I think it was. This could have been a 90-minute doc. I don't know that we needed a 6-hour. It's not the strongest, most cohesive piece of documentary filmmaking, but a lot of retread ground over and over again, and just I would say too much Nancy Grace. As with the first case, I just am sick of looking at her face and hearing her shrill voice.
I think there's a pretty good case that any Nancy Grace is too much Nancy Grace. But she's an important part of the context of what happened.
Yeah, she sort of is a stand-in for, even to this very day, the current the way the media covers this type of trial.
She is inescapable and inexhaustible. All right, well, we're gonna come back to that. But instead, I just made a decision on the fly, a unilateral decision.
Editorial decision.
There it is for us to hop back now into the time machine and talk about when this episode aired. And of course, it aired on March 3rd, 2003. Mike, hey, what happened?
This day in the basement.
I'm glad you asked, Keith. I wish I had any sort of documentation or media of what I'm about to talk about. I do not. So we just have my holy memory. So, I was still at the AMDA here, going back in time, on March 3rd. I wouldn't graduate, turns out, for another 3 months. So Mike was pretty wrong. We've talked about that ad nauseum. But in my last semester, right before the showcase rehearsals had begun, I was working with an accompanist for my main musical theater class, whose name is Gary Adler. Now, for those not in the theater, yeah, you might know Gary from, he wrote the Altar Boys show, which is very popular, and also Avenue Q. And he would always refer to it as this puppet show I'm working on. And what was cool was for each like semester class thing, we would everything was like self-contained in classes, but we'd all get together, and as I think I've mentioned before, like individual scenes that people were working on would get selected for like the main presentation for the whole school, and also every class would perform like an opening number, like a full ensemble number. And so like we had done the opening to 110 in the Shade the semester before, and we'd done some people did the opening to Ragtime, which was pretty cool. This semester, what we did, we got to work on the opening of Avenue Q, which was a show nobody had seen, nobody had heard of. It hadn't even workshopped yet. I think it opened in previews in September of 2003. So they were still kind of like putting it together for its off-Broadway debut.
Oh, that's fun. You got to do it before it got done.
Yeah. And I got to sing the Nikki track, which is one of the Ernie stand-in. It was awesome. Yeah.
I was on Avenue Q.
He's the "If You Were Gay" song, if you know the show at all. Anyway, it was awesome, and we had also got to work on later in that semester. Jesus Called Me on My Cell Phone, which was an Altar Boys joint.
Altar Boys.
So it was cool, and it was I would go on to get this, especially becoming pals with you, and you just realize that everyone in the theater who would become successful or maybe not is working 7 jobs and is accompanying out of school somewhere and is always working on something and is pretty self-deprecatory about their work. I never would have known that when he was like, I'm just working on hey Gary, how's it going? Just working on the puppet show, just like trying to figure it out. That's pretty much the MO. So that was a cool time. Keith, talk to me about what you were doing this day in the basement.
Yes, indeed. Well, luckily, I have a great deal of documentation, and this was actually a pretty big weekend for me. First off, in the time that the break between episodes, there was a giant snowstorm in New York City. They got 18 inches, which for Vermont is like Tuesday, but in New York is a really big freaking deal. Shut down the whole city. It was very cold in Vermont. At this point, we're in the run-up to the Iraq War, and my parents were protesting the war in Burlington. It was 2 degrees, and that was the warmest part of the day as they protested. But also, my parents came down to visit the weekend that this show aired. And it coincided with my younger brother, Scott's. He was playing for the Connecticut Wolves, a junior A hockey team at that point, so he was playing, I think, close to us, so we went to the game, and then we came back and visited me in Brooklyn. We went to the aquarium and did lots of fun stuff. We also went bowling, and so you can see here, there is me bowling. Wearing my old Eastman t-shirt. That is the only piece of school paraphernalia that I ever owned. That it was given to me for free on like seniors week, and so that is no longer with us, I don't think. Mercifully, neither are those mom jeans that I was rocking. Whoo! So the other interesting thing that happened that I didn't understand what had happened then, but now I do. What had happened was on my parents' drive home, all of a sudden the wheels started to shudder, and my father thought the lug nuts had died, and it got bad enough they had to stop and go to it was a Toyota, one of the dealership, and got them to look at it. And what happened was all of the lug nuts on one of their tires had been loosened, and the wheel was literally about to shake its way off. They thought there was a big problem, but they had all just been loosened, and they tied it up and it was fine. And they were trying to figure out what in God's name would have caused somebody to intentionally unscrew all of the lug nuts on one of the tires. And we were so baffled. It was in Brooklyn, in Coney Island, where the aquarium was. Now, you and I, both of us, should now understand what happened.
Yeah, somebody was trying to rip it off.
Somebody was trying to steal their wheels, which both of us dealt with at Queens at various points. People will just steal your wheels.
I got jacked up on, sometimes they're nice enough to put you on jacks, and sometimes they throw you up on cinder blocks, which is what happened to me. And there I came out in the morning, and my car was just balanced on 2 cinder blocks, and all my wheels were gone.
Well, at least they balanced it on cinder blocks. They were kind enough to do that and not just dump it back on the ground. They same thing for us. We only lost 2 of the tires, 2 of the 4. But my understanding is that, especially because we both had small cars, that the smaller wheels they use for like street racing stuff because it gets the car a little lower. Is my understanding on that. So I think that's what happened, but it was a mystery to us Vermonters for a long time as to why on earth that had happened. I should probably tell my folks that that's what happened. We didn't know that.
Wheel locks, baby. Wheel locks. They're not foolproof, but they are preventative. I will say, every time I change a tire or I put on the spare, I think to myself, here we are driving around at incredible speeds, and the only thing holding these MFers onto this car are these 4 lug nuts, and like me twisting this little iron. Like,
I know.
It's crazy. I mean, I guess 15,000 pounds too, but you know.
Yeah, no. Well, hey, look, I have been driving at 50 miles an hour and having had one of the wheels come off.
That's happened to you?
Yes, it has. In
Holy
a Ford
hell.
Bronco, an 85, like giant 85 Ford Bronco, going 50 miles an hour down the road. I was just looking at, I was driving with my father, we're just going to the hardware store, and we're driving like, there's a wheel rolling down through this guy's yard. Like, I hope that doesn't hit anybody. And then we're like, oh shit, that's our wheel.
That's insane, man.
Our left front wheel just came off and just flew, like it just clearly came off so smoothly that it just kept booking down the road on that. And I had to like, now what do I do? So I was able to like navigate the car, pull it into the side, and mercifully nothing happened. It was really not that big of a deal, but that was a little startling. So
yeah, that's scary to even listen to.
Tighten your lug nuts, kids. And of course it was 50 miles an hour on a 2-way road. Like this wasn't like a highway. Like there was opposite traffic going, anyway, blah, blah, blah. So, all right, let us move forward because apparently we would like to have a 4-hour podcast today and talk about, as soon as I can find it,
It's time for the Out of Practice Podcast's This Day in the World. The greatest hits, the biggest movies, headlines from Vermont, essential sports updates, and for some inexplicable reason, the weather from 20 years ago. Now back to Keith and Mike.
Okay, folks, again, we're talking about March 3rd, 2003. The top song continued to be All I Have, with Jennifer Lopez featuring LL Cool J. The top movie was Cradle to the Grave, which took in $16 million. It was a Jet Li and DMX movie. I don't think I've seen it, but it looks exciting.
Sure.
The cover of the Burlington Free Press talked about a terror suspect being grilled, which was very much a part of the time. Constantly, we were disappearing people, torturing people, and just generally acting monstrously. But don't worry, in about a week, we're gonna bomb a country that didn't do anything to us. So, fun. 2003, what a year. But you want to know what's more important than all of that, Mike?
What's that?
What do you think? What do you think it might be?
It's time for sports ball.
Despite Glenn Murray's 2 goals, the Bruins dropped a game to the Vancouver Canucks 6-4 in the Fleet Center. But don't despair, they rallied back the next night in Carolina to beat the Hurricanes 4-2. Meanwhile, the Flyers dumped those same Canucks 3-0 in Philly. In case you were really wondering about 2003 hockey, I've got your back. Yeah, well, all right. Well, you want to know what everybody's waiting for, Mike?
What's that?
Here it is.
I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
It's time to talk about the damn episode.
Okay, kids, mercifully, we are now talking about The Practice Season 7, Episode 14, The Makings of a Trial Attorney. And this episode was written by David E. Kelly and Jonathan Shapiro, who last wrote on The Good Fight. It was directed by Arvin Brown, who last directed Vanished, Part 1. And it is time to give the salute. This is Arvin Brown's final of 9 episodes directed on The Practice. Thank you for your time. It is now time for a very important segment that we call... I found it.
is that supposed to mean?
What's your problem?
Is this what happens to women when you insert your penis?
What?
What?
What does Mike think's gonna happen?
You know, what if he would have drank the curdled milk? Then what would have happened?
You know, Keith, last week I gave the show too much credit. I thought it was going to be a really intricate, well-crafted narrative, and I predicted such in the opening. And this week I'm not going to make such a mistake, all right? You know, we should get the salutes back up, Keith. I know you were trying to keep it from spoilers, but this will be the last performance from everybody's favorite Jamie Stringer, because... you might think that the implication here is that she gets her first trial here, but instead they are clearly trying to dig up some. They have a client who is accused of murder, and he's he's a soccer player, and the our firm thinks that there is one of the other players on the team, is actually the culprit. And so what they ask is for Jamie to go undercover as a soccer coach. And they ask her to be super sexy. They have her like bump up her cleavage and like blow the whistle and like really hit on this guy. And by the end of it... Blow the
whistle?
Yeah.
Now, folks, if you would like to seduce Mike Indeglio, come in and blow a whistle at him.
Keith, you know how you blow a whistle. You just put your two little lips together and blow. Anyway...
Out of context, folks, out of context theater, we're going to be saving that clip.
No, come on. Isn't that like a famous Marilyn Monroe thing? Don't you know how to whistle? Just put your... Anyway, long story short, right. She's got to be
Anyone
super sexy.
Can whistle.
And you know what? She's like, you know what? I didn't put up with this from that judge, and I'm not going to put up with from you MFers, and I'm out of here. And Jamie goes, and that's that.
Wow.
So the show doesn't
so this is Jamie's quitting the show, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but you know what, Keith? The good news is that, you know what the firm loves? Hiring another attractive young woman.
Wow.
So next week we'll have yet another one. So there you go.
Wow. So Mike is firing Jamie Stringer on this episode.
She's not firing. She just
Very
quits.
bold.
She's like, I'm out. Maybe you know what? She goes and works. Lindsay's hiring.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she goes and works for Lindsay.
I just have to point out, put the graphic back up on the screen there. But I just like to talk about complexion because you got a beautiful shade of orange on your little picture there. I think you need to get into the booth.
And you know what's funny is that raw image is not that shade. And if you go back into the YouTubes, you'll realize that it's always been my natural shade, but then something happened on an OBS update that has effed that picture, and I just decided I'm a shady guy. I might as well have a shady look.
Just roll with it. All right. Well, if you would like to listen to these two pasty but shady on the inside, guys,
we've been doing the show for so long, I don't even remember what the pirate inside joke is anymore.
I think you once guessed that there might be pirates involved. I think that's what happened. But it's been a long time. All right, folks, if you would like to listen to us talk about The Practice, Season 7, Episode 14, hop over to your podcasting service of choice, which you're already on because nobody watched the video. And we will see you back for the Oopsies.
Are we that hideous? And we are back, baby!
Yes, we are. We've watched The Practice, Season 7, Episode 14, The Making of a Trial Attorney. Mike, why don't you make us a recap in...
2, 3, 4. Mike has 30 seconds to remember what just happened on the show. Segment.
In one case, Bobby's gotta get to some guy who was in prison wrongfully paid out. In the other case, the puking lawyer who's now in the credits has got to get some money for a CTE guy from soccer. Both of those things happen. We win twice. We get some money and we make nice. And we make that girl cry. And now she's welcome to the practice. And Mike still doesn't know her name.
Yes. All right. 30-second songs. I love it. now let's do our first musical haiku-psy.
Oh, shit. Wrongful conviction. It's hard making someone pay. I might. Oops, wrong. Last one. I think I might pay you.
He's gonna help you. He's gonna
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
Let's just transition right into this. What do you say?
That was awesome.
Ladies and
why don't? Oh yeah, let's do
the Out of
this.
Practice podcast, in unofficial, unsolicited, unfactual association with David E. Kelly Productions, proudly present
Oopsie.
Oopsies! Celebrating excellence in acting good, lawyering good, guesting good, and being Tom Brady. Not to mention, this is where we rate the episode.
Yo, Tom Brady
and
keeps
stuff.
winning, Keith.
Now,
I
here are
know,
your hosts,
God.
Keith and Mike.
What the hell are the oopsies?
Well, Jackie, they're a fake awards show which begins with the magnificent singing of. Yeah. Sounds really good.
Whew, God, that was really, it's still troubling.
Still troubling. The Out of Practice podcast after all these years.
This is a tougher one because we won both of our cases, and I thought due to actually really great lawyering on both sides, Bobby had a 12-minute close there, and however, though, I think Kylie playing Cassie.
Neither one of those are right. 0 for 2.
Starts with the plosive k feels right. So I think k has had a more legal argument, whereas Bobby it was a great close, but it was very full of okay, let me put it this way. I think that k had more precedent to set and a higher legal bar to argue against, even though she did it pretty quickly. And she had some personal. I just want to give it to her. It's her first trial, and she wins it. And actually, hold on, she didn't really win, did she? She just got it past that initial kind of swing and into trial. So she didn't really win anything yet. Whereas Bobby won a good sum of money for his lawyer. Now, it didn't send the message they wanted to send, but it is a precedent, and and he did. So unfortunately, I have to go back on my own word there and give it to Bobby.
Wow, that was a journey that we just went on. Yes, I'm going to give mine to Kababi because Kyler Lee as Claire Wyatt only won a tree trial motion. Although impressive and important, I think that just the case is more important.
How am I going to remember Claire?
I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be a journey for us all. But yeah, no, for me, it's Bobby. I think he did an excellent job remedying, or not remedying, trying to make up a little bit a incredible mistrial of justice that he participated in for back in the day. All right. Well, I think it's time for us to move forward and give out some more awards with our danciest segment.
Already famous because you've been on TV, getting a pay. First entry on your IMDb. Way to go. But you're the best guest actor. You are the best guest actor. You are the best guest actor on the episode.
That just looks like two grown men feverishly masturbating.
Most of what we do does look like that.
That's true.
I just censored what the next thing I was going to say, and thankfully I didn't say it. Just imagine. MVL, let's give out some awards.
Nope. Best guest actor. We are
Best guest actor.
Keith and I have each devoted
this
about
is a calamity.
Six what he's called neurons to what we're trying to do right now.
Should have eaten more things before we recorded.
I think this is a no-brainer. Thank God, because I don't have a brain. Our Keith, go ahead and say his name because Mike doesn't even have the call sheet up right now.
I think you're looking for Carlton Wilborn.
Carlton Wilborn, the right mix of indignation, of resignation, just an incredibly grounded yet profound performance. And I thought the best beat for me actually was that beat at the end with Bobby, because he shows a grace that he absolutely does not have to show, especially in the face of, he didn't really win that much money. I mean, I really thought their compensatory damages could have easily, or punitive damages could have easily been in the multi-millions, hundreds of millions.
For sure, and should have been, frankly.
So that's also the writing, but the performance of that grace was, I think, really powerful and moving, and really wrapped up a really pretty cool episode in where not only is it about the issue, it's an issue episode, but it's also a complete arc for Bobby, emotional arc for Bobby in this episode, and we'll talk about later. So I thought that it's a pretty easy best guest actor this week, and I can't wait to tag him on Instagram because it's really an excellent performance.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it is Carlton Wilborn. I will give a shout out to Dennis Arndt, who I thought did an excellent job in his close. Even though we were not on his team, he gave an excellent close and a great performance there. But yeah, congratulations to Carlton Wilborn with your best guest actor. Now is going to be an interesting one.
You killed your podiatrist or blew the case, but you let a single tear run down your face. You're the best actor on the show.
So for the first week, we have a new candidate, Kyler Lee, or Calamity Calumet, or whatever it is that you came up with. Her name is for the first time eligible for a Best Actor OOPSY. Mike, who are you going to give it to?
So I thought that Kyler was excellent this episode and was able to sort of surmount the weird quirk they gave her as a character, much like Draws was not able to do in the WWE. He could not rise above that puke character. I think that,
to be fair, he might have had a shot without like the horrible accident that happened.
Yeah, I was trying not to really go down that route, but there we are. Anyhow, speaking of traumatic brain injury, So anyway, I thought she did a great job. I just, if I'm going by my gut here, which is all we have, I still think Dylan McDermott gave a more impactful performance for me. I loved her final beat, that moment for her in the courtroom where she's taking it all in. Really love it.
Yeah.
And I suspect, hopefully, assuming they give her material, that she will have another shot at it. But for me, Dylan really, despite, we said this before, so I'll keep it brief. Despite the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys they give Bobby as a character, Dylan always finds a way to find one episode here and there to really hook in and give me the Bobby that I really love. It's three-dimensional. Even though he wins kind of across the board here, you see the journey, his emotional journey with reckoning with young Bobby, and it doesn't mean that he's evolved to the point where he's reached nirvana. I mean, he's still a D-bag to Schmichevich when he comes in, and he's not 100% enlightened, but he is moving forward. And I really enjoyed everything he does, and his close even. That monologue in the courtroom is just an epic Dylan McDermott piece. And I really think Dylan won it for me this week. Not that Kyler wasn't excellent. She was, And I hopefully maybe you'll make her an argument, but Dylan's going to get my vote.
No, I agree with you. I think Kyla did a really good job. I think she's, suffers, and I'll get into this in some of the tires, but I think the character is suffering from sort of repeated beats and a little bit of just sort of like, yeah, we already did all of this like a bunch of different times. So she's doing an excellent job. It's just that, like, as an audience, I've tired of these same 3 beats with these new characters. But I thought Dylan gave a very restrained performance. It's not Bobby at 11. This is a little bit more restrained. Perhaps Bobby has been in therapy while because again, he was forced to take, I think, 2 or 3 months off from litigating. And we're seeing perhaps a little bit more grounded Bobby here. And it's much appreciated. And so, you get an oopsie. Congratulations, Dylan, on your Best Actor. Oopsie, coming up.
The Tom Brady Award for being Tom Brady.
Tom Brady standing in front of a jury, puking all over them.
Ha! Yeah, that seems right. I like that. Very good. So congratulations, Tom Brady, puking on a jury. Tom Brady, for your Tom Brady Award for being Tom Brady. All right, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to announce how many spare tires this episode gets.
Last week was rough, y'all, and we let that be known. We let our feelings be known. This week, I feel happy because the show delivered all of the things Keith and I say we want. We want more litigating. We want more strategeries. We want grounded performances. We don't need Bobby McRambo, and we got that. And we got all that on top of a great debut for a new character. Well acted, a great scene. Now, I will agree, I did feel that the A case was really the meat of the episode. I feel like while we got some cool arguments in the B case, none of it felt particularly like they really could have gone. You could devote a whole episode, a main story to this issue, but it's a little before its time, and I think it was written as a vehicle to introduce the character and to have her overcome something rather than make it about the case, right? Whereas the A case was able to thread the needle and do both things. I think we discuss just an outrageous injustice in our country, an issue at large, and also have it be a bit of a journey for not just Bobby, but for the Schmitzvich character, the DA character, and the victim. Let's just call it like it is, the victim of the injustice here, and couple that with a realistic outcome and really grounded, solid performances. Something really hard to play non-cheesy is contrition, and I feel like you got that from Bobby mixed with an empathy, and I think they juxtapose that with the court and the court in representing the justice system with such a matter-of-fact indignance.
Yeah, a lack of empathy.
Yes, was stark and in no way felt hyperbolic than to what it is, even though it seems so. It seems like that can't be real. And here's the thing. Every one of us watching knows that it is. And though they won, let's be honest, that $400,000 is a pittance once you pay legal fees and whatever outstanding debts he has from those 15 years. It's a slap in the face, but it's a realistic slap in the face on top of so many slaps in the face.
Yeah.
So, I didn't think that the B case was egregious. I didn't think it was necessary. I think they probably could have written this as a full-length A case, but I'm not going to ding it too much for that because I do feel like it was well performed, and I think that it's Kyler is a great addition to the cast, playing Claire.
Well done, sir.
So what you asked, I asked, I received. I can't be hypercritical. I I do think it's kind of, like you said, we did retread some stuff. And then, of course, we had 2 scenes where 2 separate characters basically tell Claire she shouldn't, do you want to quit? Which seems very out of character for our show. Like, where's Rebecca? Where's the Rebecca character telling her, no, you got this, girl? Right? I missed that. So it's a little bit of ding. So I can't give it into the stratosphere of the 9s, but I'm going to give it a solid 8.77 spare tires.
Okay, 8.77. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I liked it as much as you did. The Bobby's case I really liked. Now, I feel very torn about this episode because half of the episode I liked a great deal. For all the reasons we talked about. Bobby's case, highlighting a realistic injustice here, having it well articulated, really highlighting the lack of empathy from the prosecution's side. And this is a real thing. We see this over and over and over again in documentaries and real cases where even when they're very clearly proven to have fucked up and have screwed somebody over, there is a defensive lack of empathy and a defensive lack of attachment to their mistakes that you see. And I'm glad to see that highlighted. I'm glad to see the injustice of having to accept responsibility for what you did as a precondition of being paroled, which I understand the reasoning behind it if you are guilty, but if you're not, you're really set up for injustice. And as our legal system is supposed to be erring on the side of the innocent, this feels like a mistake in how that is structured. I understand why it's there, but if we're always going to err on the side of the innocent, that should continue beyond conviction, because we know that plenty of innocent people are convicted. So that should, there is a shift in the way our legal system treats people, because you're innocent until proven guilty, until convicted. Then you are guilty until proven innocent. And I think that is not necessarily the right way to handle that. That's a good way to handle it in a perfect system, but we do not have a perfect system. And so I think that erring on the side of innocence should continue post-conviction. So all of that I loved. I loved all of that. The other story, I like delving into concussions. That feels very ahead of its time. I think that feels very relevant, and we're dealing with that on the regular basis today, and I'm glad that we are. So I like all of this. I like Kyler Lee. She's a good actress.
But
I don't understand why she's here. And this has nothing to do with Kyler, the actress, or the performance, or the execution of it. I don't know why she's here. Right? Because it's the same character. At this point, we haven't distinguished Jamie as a separate character. It's the same person. Like, you're just like, let's just add another hot young lawyer who comes in as the underdog, but is secretly okay. Like, she's got a quirk and she's the underdog, but guess what? She's gonna, when the moment comes, she's gonna be really good. And then we're gonna be mean to her, and then we're gonna accept her at the end because she proved herself. It's the same beat. It's the same character. At this point in the series, what are the differences between Jamie and Claire? A blonde and brunette.
You almost have to wonder, behind the scenes, is there a scheduling thing taking place? We're not seeing Lisa Gay at all. Jamie's kind of just in some scenes here and there. Maybe there's some shit going on behind the scenes and they're trying to hedge their bets.
I feel, well, I mean, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that I don't want to talk about yet.
Yeah, I don't want to research
of spoiler. Yeah, do not research it. But I think there's pressure from the network, read the ratings, and that kind of stuff. And it feels a little desperate because the show up to this point has been phenomenal actors who, yes, they're attractive, but they're young and attractive, and that it's TV. That's how that works. But we're leaning on the great writing and the great storytelling and the great actors, and it's not so much about that. This feels a little desperate. It feels a little bit like, let's just keep throwing hot young actresses at the screen and maybe that'll get our ratings up. And I don't like it. I don't like it for a lot of different reasons. And again,
now, do you give it any credit? I'm just curious as a writer that they call that out. Like they have Lindsay say it.
I mean, a little bit, but you're still doing it, right? Yeah. It's like, Mike, I'm going to punch you in the face, and I know that I shouldn't do it, but boom, it's like, okay, thank you for acknowledging that you shouldn't be doing it, but like maybe don't do it. And so I just, if the character were different in some way, like come in with a different point of view, don't just repeat all the Jamie beats again. We just did that. And and again, love the actress. I don't know why Jamie's there. I don't know what the point of that is.
She's not even doing anything anymore.
She's not really doing anything, and you're just we've done, the cute, young, inexperienced lawyer comes in, and if you're gonna make a story about mentoring, you're gonna make a story about, because that was Lindsay when we first met her. That was Rebecca when she got her license. That was like we did all of these beats before. Okay, so if you want to do a story about Lindsay becoming a mentor, showing all that she learned, like I was you 7 years ago, and here, let me guide you. Let's learn from the mistakes I made. No, we're not doing any of that. We're doing like Cupid doopy. Oh, I'm not gonna win. I'm quirky, and then wait, I am gonna win. Yay! It's just we've done this. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
So and I liked it more the first time we did it. It's the same thing, and it's just, I don't know. So that's more about the meta story going on here than about this particular episode. So I'm going to give it, for the Bobby part, for that storyline, I'm going to give it an 8.27.
Okay.
But the bigger picture meta stuff, like I'm on to you, and I'm not sure I like it. So there you are. Let's do our Easter egg and then move on with our day, shall we?
Well, Keith, I think that, if I'm not mistaken, this one's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. I'm getting, if you wanted to know why I'm so brain dead most of the time, this is why.
Yeah.
Keith,
there
you can't always see it, but I'm just heading the ball all the time.
Yeah. Well, folks, if you enjoy watching Mike Gets CTE, you can find us on the social media. Nobody listens at this point. Yeah. You can find us at Out of Practice Podcast at gmail.com, on Facebook and Instagram at Out of Practice Podcast. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review on your podcasting service of choice. We will read it. We'll be grateful. We will welcome you gratefully into the jury. And, that's a good thing. Other people we are grateful for include Scott Moffat with his amazing remixes today. But our founding sponsors, Jorge Navoa, Cloud Lover 69, Leanne Wrights, Jennifer Masanova, and Kari Kuhn.
Hey, I know that you are impressed by some of our amazing listeners and community doing segments, sending in bumpers, all those things. You don't have to be a creative to join the team. You can just listen and subscribe, or you can give us money. You can become one of our sponsors. Even though there's only one season left, we could really use it. One-time donation, monthly contribution, links in the show notes, as they always are. Oh, hey, we've got another show on the channel. Like and subscribe. Check that one out. Hey, do you feel like listening to this show is just you banging your head against the wall constantly until you have a gaping wound in your head? Well, help us cauterize that wound with some laser sounds.
Laser sounds. You know what? Someday
he's coming at you. He's gonna
we need a remix of all of them.
He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke.